Riley, I'd like to take up with you, would you be able to share, some of your insights just, at Broadcom, at VMware, etc., on the role of deal registration when it comes to providing that visibility of pipeline and helping on the partner engagement piece?
Good question. I mean, in my professional opinion, I think the most basic reason that any company with a channel ecosystem would launch a deal registration program is to get pipeline visibility into their partner-led deals. Like, that's the core. Obviously, if you want to be able to do that and create the pipeline, you need to entice your partners to register their deals so that you can forecast accurately, and you can do that by providing upfront discounts, deal protection, even back-end rebates, and so all those things like we just talked about build that partner trust and engagement. So it really is, it's a two-way street if you think about it. And then, like I said just a minute ago, I'm a firm believer that the deal reg process can help build or break that partner trust and engagement. And I'll give you an example of that. Prior to the Broadcom acquisition of VMware, our VMware deal registration process was automated in various ways, but over time it became pretty complicated, and sometimes it was hard for our partners to understand. But with the integration of VMware into Broadcom, and specifically the deal registration process into Broadcom on channel mechanics, we were really able to simplify things, and that's what we focused on. We're actually able to reduce the number of questions that we ask partners in half, and then we automated the approval routing of those deals so that they could be actioned more efficiently. And so without that simplistic approach plus the channel mechanics automation, it really would have been impossible and still would be impossible for us to manage the volume that we see in our deal registration program today. So that's really important. But the last thing that I would say is you got to give your partners visibility into the deals that they've registered, but not only visibility, also offer up some insights to them as well. And so, as you know, Ken, we're excited that in the very near future, we're going to be launching a custom deal registration dashboard for our partners on channel mechanics, which will then continue to kind of build upon that trust and that engagement.
That's great, Roddy. Again, a lot there, and yeah, I think kind of visibility overlays on Ken's first topic around the loyalty, because if you can drive that loyalty through the exclusivity and the trust, for you as the vendor, visibility is absolutely critical. There's no point having a partner bring a deal to you at the last minute. There's so many impacts of seeing the pipeline in advance, all the way right down to your supply chain ultimately, right? So you got to think about your forecasting, all of these different things, your fulfillment process, everything is driven by that visibility. So the sooner you get it, the better, and you will only get it sooner if you go back to Ken's first point, if you build that trust, because they're not going to show it to you if you steal it off them. And I would overlay on top of that the engagement piece. Riley, you touched on it there a little bit, is deal registration is kind of the fundamental. It's the first thing you will do most often, as the first program you launch into your channel will be deal registration. So if you think about it, you get them to come in and register a deal, which is one of the most common things a partner will do, for good or for bad. And that's where, that's your touch point. It's hard enough to get access to them. And that's where you need to be ready and have a really nice portal that shows and engages with them equally, as you said, Riley, that shows them what are the opportunities associated with that pipeline, what are the status of those opportunities, what's the value of the deal to them, etc. So all of that good stuff helps keep the partners coming back. Yeah, Matt, anything you'd like to add?
I think there's some really, really good points in there, and making sure that they've got that sort of, it's almost like a safety net, right, of that exclusivity period as well. And again, making sure that they feel confident with that, so that they keep coming back, then giving them the visibility into that over the longer term as well, to look at their own success. That sort of visibility is really powerful for them, right? We always look at that. I mean, from from when I look back at when I worked at Netrix, you know, we were always trying to get as much data on the deal registration program as possible. But actually, it was the partners that wanted visibility equally, because they wanted to see, well, how important is Netrix to our business? You know, how loyal are we to Netrix because of that? So I think it works both ways on the visibility piece, right? And I think nowadays more so for the partner.
That's great, man. And Ken, anything you'd like to chime in with?
Yeah, just you know, everybody I think has touched on it, and you know, like I described earlier, we did have that direct motion. We were in the small to medium-sized business market, and you know, recognized fairly early on that it was going to take a lot more to get into, you know, the enterprise-sized customers, and the partners were part of that. One of the challenges we really had was more internal than it was external. It was educating our inside team and how they could go about leveraging the partner community. You know, it's explaining that you mess up once with a customer and yeah, you lose an opportunity. You mess up once with a reseller and you lose a reseller, and that's multiple opportunities. So we spent a lot of time working on that. Channel Mechanics really helped us because there was a lot of tie-ins to our CRM tool, which allowed us to vet the opportunities, make sure that we weren't doubling up on deal regs, make sure we weren't, you know, touching opportunities that were being touched elsewhere. And I heard something the other day from our CRO. He made the comment. He said, "Once a deal reg, always a deal reg," which was really unusual for our company. So I think the message is finally starting to get through, and I do appreciate you guys helping us to make sure that it stays clean. And you know, I think Riley talked about the simplicity. The more we can make it simple, the easier, the better it works.
Yeah, and I would say that that applies internally as well as externally. You know, we always talk about the partner-facing side, but I know, you know, at our company, we spend so much time helping you guys, our customers, help your account teams. And I often call it, you know, help your account teams become sales-oriented rather than be operational. You know, so to present them with a really easy-to-use dashboard of here's all the deals in the pipeline, you know, here's my best partner, here's my worst partner, here's the up-and-coming star that I need to nurture, etc. So helping you know, we all know channel teams are stretched. You know, it's the first place, you know, companies will go to make efficiencies, is a nice way to put it. So we really have to always think about the channel teams in everything that we do, whether it's deal registration or whatever it might be. So yeah, no, that's great, guys. Thanks so much.